We think Thorwald's guilty.
Mic drop blocking. Body language, the way characters are positioned and move in life and film, means something. Breaking down two mic drop moments, one at the beginning and one at the end in this scene from Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window. The master of suspense uses subtle movement, precise placement of his characters to shape what we, the audience, think and feel. Sometimes it's for the plot, subtly nudging our perceptions. Other times, it's characters communicating volumes to each other. Often, it's a brilliant blend of both. Let's break it down. Picture this, Jimmy Stewart confined to his wheelchair, and Grace Kelly radiating elegance, lay out their evidence. They believe their neighbor they've been spying on through that iconic Rear Window has murdered his wife. Learn the language of cinema with this scene as they try to convince Jimmy Stewart's detective friend. If you think what a mic drop moment is, it's someone going in, doing something bold and different, and then immediately walking away. And here, another way to do that is in a conversation, going in and interrupting what was being said or the thought and changing it completely.
This is Miss Lisa Fremont.
How do you do?
We think Thorwald's guilty.
That's the first time she's met him, too. And then she walks away and retreats like, enough's been said, I've said it all.
Careful, Tom.
In talking about directing, Hitchcock once famously quipped, actors should be treated as cattle. This caused an uproar, but perfectly encapsulated his director philosophy of precise control and his view of actors as instruments. This is why deliberate blocking we're discussing is almost certainly intentional and directly from Hitchcock himself. Like in Catch Me If You Can, Spielberg has Tom Hanks doing busy work looking at fingerprints so that when he looks up...
Mrs. Hanratty, Merry Christmas.
Hello, Carl.
You get this big realization movement that makes it really obvious to the audience. Here, so does Hitchcock and Corey, the actor of Detective Doyle, as he gets real interested in his glass, so that when he looks up, we get a little bit of emotion that definitely shows the realization.
Jewelry?
He's got his wife's jewelry hidden in his clothes in the bedroom over there.
You sure it belonged to his wife?
It was in her favorite handbag. And Mr. Doyle, that can only lead to one conclusion.
Namely?
Now, if you look at this moment, we've got Jimmy Stewart and Grace Kelly surrounding Doyle. It's saying they've got him cornered with their arguments. There's something similar in Jurassic Park. Steven Spielberg has everyone surrounding the Velociraptor, but by doing that, the Velociraptor actually looks powerful and strong because they're having no effect on it. A lot of blocking is context-driven. How are people reacting? Cues can be taken either from the people surrounding, or in this case, the calm Doyle in the center.
It's simply that women don't leave their jewelry behind when they go on a trip.
Here, the detective's act of looking down and retreating isn't merely a movement. It's a physical manifestation of maybe him considering the murder. Much like an armed force to take a defensive positions, this visual cue speaks to us without words. It's cool to think how Hitchcock makes arguments, for lack of a better word, physical, truly showing the push and pull through how characters advance and retreat and follow. This visual dance unfolding before us doesn't just support the dialogue, it adds a powerful visual cue as to what's happening. But these visual cues, what's so great about them is they're not explicitly saying what they are, and they can be misinterpreted in brilliant dynamic ways that add a different layer of subtext to the scene. For example, you originally might have thought that he was retreating because he was losing the argument and he was laying over and considering what they were saying. But in actuality, he's preparing for an entirely different kind of reaction. This is the first stage, a subtle misdirect. Now for a clever twist on this technique to truly reveal and up the ante. The detective is still retreating, but this time he moves towards us, the camera. This isn't just movement. This is brilliant blocking, creates a natural close-up, transforming the familiar act of retreat into the anticipation of a powerful statement. It's a masterclass in amplifying stakes. You can have a character approach us, the audience, or confront another character. Hitchcock, in this crowning moment, masterfully does both.
Lars Thorwald is no more a murderer than I am.
And the constant swishing of their drinks is stopped as they are caught off guard.
Everything that's gone on over there and is still going on?
No, neither can you.
And then the perfectly synced with his counter-argument, he approaches, going on the aggressive.
Possibly explain in public.
Like disposing of their wives.
Get that idea out of your mind, it'll only lead in the wrong direction.
What about the knife and the saw?
Did you ever own a saw?
Stewart looking away like Doyle walking away shows him retreating in the argument, here not collecting a thought but hiding shame.
All of the couple of hundred knives you probably own in your lifetime.
Frantic, she rushes to re-engage, to again try convince. A clear pattern now begins to emerge. Grace Kelly follows the retreating detective, but this isn't just movement, it's Hitchcock strategically keeping Jimmy Stewart in reserve. This calculated chess move ensures the argument's intensity remains, providing a powerful reinforcement even when the detective appears to best Grace Kelly's character.
I don't know how many wasted years I've spent tracking down leads based on female intuition.
All right. I take it you didn't find the trunk. And all this is from an old speech you once made at the policeman's ball.
I found the trunk a half hour after I left here.
I suppose it's normal for a man to tie up a trunk with heavy rope.
Well, if the lock is broken, yes.
Well, and what did you find inside the trunk? A surly note to me?
And the pattern begins to repeat itself.
Well packed. Not stylish, but presentable.
Didn't you take them off to the crime
But to avoid the repeating the same tools, he switches up who approaches first.
Taking a simple, short trip, does she take everything she owns?
Let's let the female psychology department handle that one, huh?
I would say it looked as if she wasn't coming back.
And she comes in, but because she's not attacking Doyle this time, she's kept in the background as not to be aggressive or pushy against him.
Do you tell your landlord everything?
I told you to be careful, Tom.
Look, if I'd have been careful piloting that reconnaissance plane during the war, you wouldn't have a chance to take the pictures that won you a medal and a good job and...
This is his mic drop moment. He's nestling in, settling in all comfortable and coy. Although it's a completely different position and it's got the same enough's been said vibe. Sitting is an underutilized power move. It says instinctually, I don't take you as a physical threat, but this body language can also say even your words, your arguments are nothing to me. I don't need to engage with them. They are something I can confidently walk away from without moving at all. It can be a more subtle way to mic drop.
We can tell lies about the good old days during the war.
You mean you're through with the case?
There's no case to be through with, Miss Fremont. How about that drink?
I've broken down in the past how walking away from an argument or moment can suck the tension out of the room, unless it's part of the subtext, the unsaid words spoken between characters. Detective Doyle sitting was an active choice, him confidently saying, let's talk about something else. And their retreat is a dramatic way to say no.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Well, I think maybe I better get home and get some sleep.
Learn filmmaking by watching blockbuster movies with juiced up insights. Switch out a $1,000 film lecture for a Friday night at home watching Jurassic Park with me. I'll break down how Spielberg redefines what they teach in film school as establishing shots, and how he uses mere seconds of directing technique to set up 40 minutes of terror later, and the cinematography that hides things like a hidden and secret golden spiral. Just as making a feature requires different muscles than a scene or short, this commentary breaks down movies in a completely new way. Imagine a second screen in the palm of your hand, flashing images and movie references that augment your viewing experience. They say watch movies like a filmmaker to learn, but now you don't have to do it alone, but with a guide. Sign up for email updates and for early access with the link in the description.